And then there was one, Tom. 1 day left of the Royal Ascot. So, how are you feeling through 80% of the cards so far?
Well, I'm only down $42, so I feel a little relieved by that. But I would
For the
like
whole
to
meet or
be
for
doing
today?
a little better than I've been doing.
So you're down $42 for the entire meet?
Yes.
Well, that's not bad. That's break even by horse racing parlance, right? Anything under triple digits is break even.
Well, I'll see what happens. I got one more race, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow because we have another 7 opportunities to lose money.
Or to find the big one. I'm looking for the big one, Thomas. I want to hook the big fish and see if we can indeed bring that one home. Unfortunately, due to some other obligations I had today, I was unable to get the pace chart set up, but that won't deter us because I had got to spend a little bit more time on picks, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good or a bad thing. But let's go ahead and start with race number 1, Tom. Race number 1 is a 7 furlong. It's the Chesham Stakes on the turf course. Again, if we look at it, 7 furlongs on the turf course. You can just put that upstairs. I'll get it later. The 7 furlong starts here, and it runs over to here. So straight up that hill. And right now, if you're looking on one of your, I know I'm looking at Twin Spires at the moment, you can actually see the course from that head-on view. So you can see the elevation in real life there, Thomas.
Yeah, you can.
And the one thing I know,
we should point out this is a listed race, so these are some pretty good horses.
The one thing I noticed today in those straight races, it looked to me like everybody was pushing to the right-hand side or the top of your screen, and they were staying away from the bottom. Why do you think that is?
That seems to be the trend throughout. I mean, it seems like the center and the far side have been where the winners are coming from. It looks like the higher draws are been at a really big disadvantage.
All right, so let's take a look at race number 1. See what we think for tomorrow's 7 furlong affair on that listed Chesham Stakes race. Who you got?
Well, I went with number 1, One World. It's my top choice.
Number 1 is One World. Do I have the right card?
Oh.
It looks like Alfred Munnings to me is the number 1 horse.
You have the right card. I have the wrong number.
All right.
I will have to fix that.
What's the name of the horse? One World, number 9.
One World.
Yes. Well, One World, post 1, I can understand. That's an easy mistake to make.
Should have done better than that. Should have checked my work again, and I didn't do that.
Well, as long as you got the horse right, it doesn't matter the number.
Yeah. Well, One World is my choice, and whatever the hell number is, I'll figure that out.
Number 9, breaking from the 13th.
I can't win. This is one of those horses with to start slow, sat behind the leaders in his last, and made up some ground. And when asked to go, he got headed. Then he came back and won. And I always like that with these young horses, especially a 2-year-old. The one thing to note is this was on some soft ground, so what he can do on firm is going to be very interesting. Frankie has the mount. He finally got a win, and with a very good horse who beat some classic winners and the Americans without too much really effort. So Frankie had the mount then, and Colin Keane picks up this mount, which I think is a really interesting choice. Frankie rode it before, and then Colin Keane now gets it. Al-Zerha, number 2, I think it's supposed to be. Unless I screwed
number
that
2,
one up too.
Al-Zerha.
Yeah, I got one right.
Yes, indeed. Coming from the 4 post, 8-1 line. So if you take 2 times 4 equals 8-1. Perfect.
I'll take it. Missed by a head at the first race at York behind Naval Power, who's a halfway decent horse. This was a novice, and then he led in the race and late, and then just the winner came back and got him. I think it was a good race, a good learning experience. And I think there's enough here to say that this horse can win this race. Finally, I take number 14, Lakota Sioux. And it has 2 races. They're both at 7 furlongs. He won really nicely at Linfield, winning by 6.5 lengths. He went off as the favorite. And then his next race, he was a third by half a length, trying to go wire to wire. So maybe some speed with this one. I think he's learned. I think the distance is not an issue. The course may be an issue, but on the other hand, we've seen these Brave Sioux horses been doing very well, the young ones, and because he's a first crop sire here. And I'm looking for him to be on the lead. And can he hang on? I don't know.
Well, the one thing when you watch it, it's just like a herd of horses, like Terry said. When they're coming down to that wire, they just and you just have no idea, because that front on angle, you have to rely wholly on the announcer to get a sense of who's where in that pack. But as far as I'm concerned, Tom, you wanted to start with the 1. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to start with the 1. I'm going to start with Alfred Munnings as the first pick of the day. I see he's going to be the heavy favorite. Didn't really have any odds when I was doing it, so I'm back to setting the line. My next pick is that's not my first pick. So we both screwed up number 1. Number 4 is my first pick.
I'm not the only one with brain farts today.
Watching all these races and stuff. So I'm going to start with Dark 30.
We're about ready to go too in the last one. They're loading up.
I'm going to go 4-1, and then number 8 is my third choice. Legends of Xanadu. Xanadu is definitely brings up some memories of a young kid with Olivia Newton-John. I'm sure many older guys understand. And then number 14, Lakota Sioux, is my fourth choice. So I'm going to go 4, 1, 8, and 14. I did have the 1, just not in the right order there, Tom. That's all. Every now and then you got to give an old guy a break. All right, race number 2 is the Jersey Stakes. It is. This one is also 7 furlongs on the turf. It's a Group 3, $148,000 for 3 years old. Again, it's up that hill, 7 furlongs. If we look on the chart here, we're going to start over here on the right and then work our way down to the circular stop sign. All right, Tom, second race, second time's a charm. Who really is your first pick this time?
Number 4, Audience. Won his first start at Newmarket as a 2-year-old. He won by a little over 3 lengths, and he really put him away in that race. 2 races at 3, and first back at Newmarket, he ran second by losing by 3/4 of a length, and that was a Class 3 race. And then he ran again as the favorite at Kempton and ran second again on the all-weather. But I thought it was interesting that they're using this as the prep. I also find it, obviously stepping up in class here because he's going to come from Class 3. I think the move is interesting. Gosens are using Ryan Moore, which is very unusual, as the rider on this horse. And there has to be a reason for that. So I thought that was really interesting. Number 9, Noble Truth, is my next choice, and the draw is 14. Last out at Newmarket, it ran okay. That's when it won at this, won by 6, but his first start of the season was in the Saudi Derby, which I thought was a really interesting place to be. He lost to Pinehurst, the Balford horse, and to Sutia, which is the Japanese horse. And really, there was no point in this race that he was in that race. His racing as a 2-year-old, wins at second. He won a listed race at Doncaster, so some okay horses. He went to Perry Longchamp in a Group 1 and lost by 3/4 of a length. But at the heavy going, probably was not to his favor, but I think really performed pretty well considering. I don't know about the distance. That's my concern. That's that weird 7 furlong race that horses sometimes really like and sometimes really hate, and you don't know whether you got a sprinter will be able to win it or should it be one that's more of a miler. And he's kind of in that category for me. I think he appears to be more of a sprinter, and this just may be a little too far for him.
Mm-hmm.
Number 10 also has draw 10. Is an undefeated horse. He has 3 runs. Sambaru is his name, and he's undefeated in 3 runs, all at 7 furlongs. He won a novice at Yarmouth after a layoff for his last, and came back in April and won another novice at Salisbury. And then really the last one out in Class 3 was the key race for me, because he won at York by half a length, because he had issues in that race, was able to overcome them, and really did nicely. He seems to like the good to fast and good. So I'm starting to, it's just the class side of the things. He's taking a big step up here to a group race, but yeah, he's undefeated.
Well, we agree on 2 out of your 3 horses. Of course, I pick 4. I'm going to start with the number 9 horse, Noble Truth, and then I'm going to go forward 1 horse, just like you did, the Sambura. They're both starting right next to each other, so hopefully they'll come in next to each other. My third pick is number 8, so 7. I got 8, 9, and 10 so far. Munada, if that's the correct pronunciation, I'm not sure. I'm going to close it out with number 12, Toimi-san, at 20-1. They're about to they're heading into the gates right now for the last race of the day for today, and that's, let's see, have they started yet, Thomas? No, they're still loading up in that.
They're still loading.
I'll keep my ear open, and I'll tell you who won as they go along. We're going to go on to race number 3 for tomorrow, Saturday. This one is 1.5 miles. Let me just write this down, 12:30. This one's 1.5 miles on the turf track. Let's pull up the track. So 1.5 miles. We've gone over this a couple times. This is the one where they go, I got to pull that up on the screen. This is the one where they go up, then down, and then around and back. So almost 1 full loop around the track, Tom. Let's go ahead and share your thoughts for race number 3.
Well, to me, there's only 1 horse in this race.
Yes, my favorite horse in the world.
My opinion, the winner, if he's in shape, he'll win. Number 3, Hurricane Lane, with draw 5. He really, he stubbed his toe in the Epsom Derby, and that was it. Otherwise, the arc is heavy going, and he may have not been fond of that, but he won the Irish Derby. He won the Grand Prix de Paris. He won the St. Leger. He wins comfortably. If he's in shape, I don't think there's any question that he should win this race. And I also would not be surprised if he shows up at the Breeders' Cup.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to show up at the Breeders' Cup. So
now we're fighting it out second and for the minor positionings, because number 4, Les Lafayette, is my choice for that. Winner last 2 at 10 furlongs at the Curragh in a Group 3 race, and then I raised up to a Group 2 race. Prior, he raced at Naz in a listed race. So he's done very nicely. He really wasn't much as a 4-year-old, but the light must have gotten turned on, because as a 5-year-old, this horse is much better. And he is a forward running horse. And, but he ran into Hurricane Lane in this race. Probably not to see him continue with that winning way, but he does, if any of them have a chance, I think based on what he's done as an older horse, he's really matured. And number 8, A Third Realm, is my final choice. Won last time at Doncaster by 6, going 12 furlongs. His first start was a 3rd in a listed race at Ascot. He's run well and competitive at the lower levels. He wins there. The upper levels, he's competitive, but he's not winning. So money, yes. Can he beat some of these other horses? Yes. Will he? Probably beat some, but I don't see him winning.
All right. Well, the race just ended for the final race on today's card, Friday, and Latin Lover was your winner. Did you have Latin Lover, Thomas? I did not have Latin Lover, and that was the race where I circled a couple horses, so I don't know how they came in. That was the 26 horse. It looks like Latin Lover. Is that right?
Yeah, it came from the center.
28 furlongs went off at 10-1. Was morning line 15, so it came down a little bit in odds.
Yeah,
and I don't think
it ran down the middle,
straight
good
down
time
the middle.
too.
Yep.
Yeah, so 59.
They haven't posted the horses behind it, so I don't know. It looks to me like the 11 horse maybe finished second. I'm not tough to tell right off the top of my head. They're going to post the numbers right now. I will share them with you as they become available. So for me, in race number 3, I'm going to start off with number 3, Hurricane Lane. Well, that's my favorite horse. Last year was, I think, the first one I picked on our first 4 and Friday show, and I've done nothing but pick him since, and he's not let me down. Second choice for me is number 7, Solid Stone, at 10-1. I'm going to go with number 8, Third Realm, as my third choice. So, Tom, we agree on 2 out of 3 once again. And then I'm going to close it out with number 6, Mostahadaf. That's going to be my 4. So I'm going to go 3, 7, 8, 6 in race number 3. They have not posted the final order yet. As soon as they do, we'll share that with you for this final race here.
Not looks like 18 and 18-1, 25, and I can't see the saddlecloth in the other one.
18-1, 25?
11, it looks like.
11?
Mm-hmm.
18-1, 25, 11? That's what it looks like?
Yeah, it looks like right now that's, if I read it correctly, which sometimes my eyes are not the best in the world, but.
Yeah, I share that problem from staring at a computer screen all day. In the meantime, we will now move off to race.
A better shot.
What's that?
They got the camera on the finish line that's a little better looking here.
Mm-hmm. Well, they haven't posted the numbers on the screen. Now we're going to go off to race number 4, which is a 6 furlongs. It is the Platinum Jubilee Stakes. Now, this is the one, Tom, that you were making commentary of some really quality horses at high odds. Again, we're looking at, is this one against, what is this race again is 6 furlongs. So 6 furlongs straight up that straightaway to the finish line on the right-hand side there. Tom, who do you like in the Platinum Jubilee Stakes, the one where you got great horses at great prices?
Well, I didn't take one I think will be at a great price, but I think it's the best horse in this race, and that's number 1, Case of You. I don't like the draw. It's 27. Last time he ran into what I would call a hot horse by the name of Brad the Brief, who's not in this race. Ran 3rd at the Curragh. That horse has been on fire. Not surprised, because prior to that, Case of You ran 2 really good races in Dubai. He won the big 6 furlong race there and second, and he beat really good horses in that race, including Castle Creed, who just won at Belmont in the Jaipur. It may be a case where coming from Dubai, he needed a race. It sometimes happens. And, he's faced Golden Pal in the Breeders' Cup. He ran 5th in that. He won the race before that at Paris Longchamp. He is definitely a 6 furlong specialist. And he's been down the 6 furlong at Dubai. He knows just running the straights. And I really think he's got a great chance of winning here. Number 13 is Home Affairs. I tossed his last race. He was 9th at Flemington. He's Australian. He broke well, moved okay, and then didn't finish. It was the best way to describe the race. Prior to that, he's faced Nature Strip, who won on the first day at Royal Ascot, and he got beat by a neck by him. A shorter race at 5 furlongs. This is a horse that has been targeting this race. He is a Group 1 winner, and it's a big challenge for him, but we'll see if he can pull it off. Then I'm going to take a long shot.
All right.
Glenn Shield is my final choice, number 8, who has another awful draw, 18. Ran 4th last out and he broke out prior. I mean, he went for the lead and then turned into a mess of a race is the best way to describe it. So I don't, he's run better than that. I mean, he finished second to Brad the Brief, and then end of the season, he had a nice effort against second against 20 horse field, losing to Creative Force. He is a grade 1 winner, and look at those odds.
66 to 1.
Well, I think it'll be a little higher than that.
Well,
so we'll see what he does.
Well, hopefully he goes higher and he wins for you, Tom. Yeah. I'm going to.
I would be surprised if he doesn't go higher.
Probably. We got too many horses. I'm going to start with number 3. Oh. I don't know. The one rail is probably the worst one you can have, or is that a good one? That's the one on the outside, right over there on the far side.
Yeah, on the outside. One hasn't won, but two has won 4 races so far. The 2 hole. So I wouldn't say no.
Well, I'm going to say yes to Creative Force as my first pick, and then I'm going to go to number 13, Home Affairs, as the second choice, which it looks like he's the first choice right now, according to the odds makers. And then number 20, Campanelli. That's the one that Dennis mentioned there. You had mentioned that you were all over that last year, watched her work with the Clocker at Churchill. Clocker said she's going to win at Ascot. She's going great and well. So any insights on that for this year? But that's going to be my third choice.
I think Wesley Ward is not having the best of times, and I don't see this horse winning. I think the mistake he made was using Irod.
Yeah, you think that was a mistake?
I think he just does not know this track. I think he's learning, but it's not been a good meet for Wesley or for Irad.
Neither, yeah. Well, that's for sure. And then I'm going to close it out with number 17, Naval Crown, is a long shot there at 40 to 1. So for race number 4, 3, 13, 20, and 17, looking forward to a fantastic Saturday, Tom, where we finally put together all of our thoughts, all of our work, and everything comes together. And finally,
and we got 2 more races to go.
I know. And the last one is, I think, a fun one, 2 3/4 miles, right? That's a long one. So race number 5.
1/4 mile and a 6 furlong, the Workingham Stakes we need to do, which is a Heritage Handicap Class 2. And then we have the Golden Gate Stakes, which is
that would be Terry's favorite race. So we're going to do race number 5 right now. That is, as you mentioned, the Wokingham Stakes. And Wokingham Stakes, as you mentioned, is 6 furlongs. Again, just running up that hill, boom, to get to 6 furlongs, starting on that straightaway, coming up to the finish line, and you'll all fan out and be 20 horses wide at the final, and they won't have the photo result for about 20 minutes, so you'll be sitting there wondering. But in any case, let's go ahead and knock out race number 5. Tom, what you like?
Yeah, well, this is a nice Class 2 race, and I went with number 2. Tad Deed is my top choice, or Tab Deed. Last 2 races and were listed at Windsor and Haydock, ran 3rd in both those races. He's moving well, but he's not winning. But by comparison, on the all-weather, he was even worse. So I think he's been improving, and I like to see that trend continue. And this is going to be a little bit of a drop here.
What number is that again?
Not a big drop, but a little bit. He's going to go from a Class 1 type races listed to Class 2. I think he fits very well here. If he gets a strong pace, he's in the rear and he'll be flying. Just needs
Which
a little
one is that again,
help.
Tom?
Number 9.
Number 9. Okay, my apologies. There you go. Number 9.
No problem. 16, Gulliver, next choice. This is one of my signs of life horse, as I like to call it. He ran at York last time out in a field of 21. It was a Class 2. He lost by a length and finished 3rd. Prior to that, that was his best season and best racing forever. It seems that way. He's been, as I like to say, it's awful, and really bad. if he was a $25,000 optional claimer here, and then all of a sudden popped like that, you'd be scratching your head. And I think this is one I like the odds. He comes from off the pace, and I'm going to take a big shot with this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, we're going to take a first foil, which is number 22. Ran at Windsor last time out in a listed race, finished second. And it really was his best run since June of last year. He mainly runs at this class 2 level, and he's had some success at doing it. So if he's rounding to form, again, looking for a price, and this one could be a nice payoff.
Indeed. Well, I'm going to go a little bit further down for my first pick here. I'm going to go with number 27, Silver Samurai. Not quite the 2 post, but the 5 post. That's not too far from the 2 post. So hopefully we'll see that come to pass. The number 7 horse is my second selection, Prince Lancelot, 28, all the way on the other side of the track. Number 6 is the third choice, Ascot, 25-1. And then finally closing it out all the way back down here again with number 20, Black Rod. So in race number 5, I'm going 27, 7, 6, 20. Race number 6 is the next one on the card. Got to close this out and then bring that out. And let's go ahead to race number 6. It is a 1.25 miles on the main track. So 1.25 miles. Looks like we're going to start here, up, down the hill, through the steady rise.
No, your visual is not up.
That's not up again. All right, let me do that again. Click, come on, mouse work. So we're going to start over here, go up.
Kick it.
Can you see it?
Yeah, now we can see it.
So kick the mouse. Yes, indeed. And then we'll come down around the corner. So, 3/4 of a turn around the track. And then take us through your picks on this one, Thomas.
I took number 11. Chairman is my top choice. Winner of 2 in a row, in a maiden, then a class 3 race. He's 1 or 2nd in all his races. I mean, he's done fairly well. I mean, yes, he's at a lower level, but it's interesting that he's been running at 12 furlongs, and then he dropped to 10 furlongs and won again. So what's his best distance? Don't know. But because he's only won at the lower levels, he gets weight off in this race, and I think that will help him. Number 7, Falling Shadow, is my next choice. Won a maiden last out. And the race before that, he was DQ'd because he had a illegal substance in him. Ooh. So he's actually won 2 in a row.
What was that substance? Did they say?
It is not listed. I do not know. This was a Charlie Appleby Godolphin horse.
So he was eating the good hay.
He was eating something. Well, either that or no, I'm not going to say it. It's. I'm going to give him. I think he's got a good chance here. I think it's the draws in the middle. It should be okay. He should be able to get. The outside tends to be where you want to be when you break on the turn, because sometimes you yourself in big trouble on the inside. So I think that'll help. Number 10, Groundbreaker, is my next choice. Ran 4th to Ottoman Fleet in a listed race at 10 furlongs. Well, Ottoman Fleet didn't do anything today, so I don't know how that good race that was. But this horse was off slowly, and the jockey got called into the steward's room, and he said that the horse was very restless in the gate. He won a maiden at Doncaster at 10, and it was a good win. He falls into my category of late developing 3-year-old, because he didn't start racing until he was in November of last year. So he's obviously had to mature, and I think it's interesting again that he's running distance. And there's listed as a reserve. There's one I want to throw in here if he does end up running, which is number 17, Bushfire. He won a novice last time out at Newbury. He won by a head, and it was heavy going, which I found really interesting. He hadn't raced since October. All his races have been in a mile, so lightly raced. Obviously, some question of fitness, but In this field with his breeding, he may have a chance.
It looks like right now he's in because he is getting odds because Jimi Hendrix, who ran the other day, is scratched.
Right. Okay.
So
yeah,
it looks like Bushfire is a part of the card.
Yeah, there were I think there were 3 reserves, and I think he was the first one that could possibly get in.
And then in this race, Dennis says the 12 horse is one that he likes at a price. Sun King, 14-1. Seems like they're all prices over there, though, right? So for me, I'm going to start this race
Finding
with
the
number
winners
1.
is the problem.
Yes, indeed. Aldous Huxley is my first selection. Again, another one that's on the rail. I don't know what it is with me picking the horse on the rail. You said the inside's a little bit more difficult of a position there, though, because of the turn.
Yeah, at these on the circle course, the inside can be a little rougher to get yourself into position, where the outside tends to have somewhat of an advantage.
Well, number 7 is a little bit more towards the outside. Falling Shadow is my second choice. Then number 4, I'm sticking on the inside. Missed the Cut. It's going to be the third choice. And then finally, number 11, the Chairman will be my fourth choice. That was your first choice, right, Tom?
Yes.
So indeed. So I'm going to go in race number 6, race 6, 1, 7, 4, and 11. And now that brings us, Tom, can you believe we're going to get to this point? It is the last race on the card of the weekend, which is of the week for Royal Ascot. It's been a long week, a lot of horses, a lot going through the mine. So race number 7 is 2 3/4 miles. This is a long one. I'm guessing that they're going to start back here. This two.
Yeah.
I'm going to right here, maybe
all the way almost where the mile race starts. Not quite that far, but almost that far back.
Yeah. So it looks like right about here. They're going to start and they're going to come all the way down and then all the way up and then all the way down and then all the way around. So it's going to be a hell of a race to end the week. Royal Ascot. It's probably going to take 2.5 miles, a couple of minutes to get done. So
yeah, it'll take over 4 minutes.
So you'll have 4 minutes to see if you can make back all of your money in that last card, as you are hoping to. Hopefully you're a positive. You get some nice winners tomorrow. Is Trushan? I know it was supposed to run the other day, Thomas, but
he will scratch again.
He will scratch again.
Unless the weather turns and get some rain. It's supposed to be cooler, I know that, but they're not expecting any rain.
All right.
So he will be gone.
So if he's not there, who do you like?
Number 8, Nate the Great.
Nate the Great.
And second in the Group 3, last out, 16 furlongs. It was a great race. I mean, and this is a horse that rarely runs really what I would call bad race. I mean, any race over 2 miles for this horse, 13 starts, he has 2 wins, he has 4 seconds and 2 thirds. I like the jockey, Daniel Torthrop is going to be up. He's been winning at a decent level at Royal Ascot, which I think is good. And he has a good record on this horse. He has 4 starts, 2 wins, a second, and a third. So based on liking the distance, looks like he's in shape because he finished second at Group 3. And this is a bit of a drop for him. I think he's got a great chance in this race. And since Trushan isn't running, that helps even more.
Mm-hmm.
Number 10, Timor is my next choice. Hasn't done much in a while with only 1 win, but this is a horse that likes to finish in the money, and that's what I like to see. He's placed in a Group 2 at Perry Longchamp. He does very nice, nice job of getting some money. And then I looked at who's riding him. James McDonald, who's actually from New Zealand but races in Australia. He's the one who ran on Nature Strip, and he's got the home affairs in today. Today being tomorrow's race. And Andre Fabre is the trainer. And he is definitely legendary. He had horses like Gornikova and a few decent horses in his life. And I just think this is an intriguing horse to be put in this field. And then finally, I'm going to take what I think may be the favorite, number 11, Wadsworth. He won last time out at Gowan Park in Ireland. He won 13.5 furlongs. And, and then he ran fourth and third, and he ran in some Group 3 races and listed races. He ran fourth in his last race against Princess Zoe. Lost by 3/4 of a length. They had some question about her when she came back for fitness. He's been favorite in his last 3. I don't know. I'm going to throw him in there, but I think they're better. He's kind of, I couldn't come up with another one. That's maybe the better way to look at it at this point, because I'm tired just looking at the race. It was so long.
Mm-hmm. Well, as Dennis says, you have time to make a sandwich and eat it at the same time. That should be a good challenge tomorrow, like on YouTube when the race goes off. See if you can indeed make a sandwich and eat it before the race is finished. It would be, I think, a nice viral moment. But I'm looking now at the results at on Twin Spires, and they're showing something completely different. The 24, that's the horse that won, right? Yes, and then the 11. So 24, 11, 13 is, I think, how it finished. But for some reason, they have the 24 listed second. I don't understand why they would do that. So 24, 11, 13 was that final order. All right, so the final picks for the final race of the day, Tom. Well, you mentioned the one horse is going to be scratched, but in the event it doesn't scratch, probably going to be the top pick. The next horse I was going to have is also picked. Is also going to scratch, so that kind of messes me up a little bit. So I'm left with 3. I'm already off to a bad start for the last race of the day. I'm going to start with number 8 then as my top selection, just like you, Nate the Great. How about that? It took 2 scratches for us to agree, Tom. and then the next choice is going to be number 14, Urban Artist, at 18-1. And the last pick of this long Ascot week is number 11, Wordsworth. So that wraps up 5 days of Ascot racing, lottery racing, as I've come to call it, because you basically have just about as good a chance to win the lottery as you do to hit one of these trifectas. And if you do hit them, you seem to get paid just as much as you would have you picked the regular lottery. Now, along with the
last race was 28, 11, 25, and 13. Of course, they pay all the way to 4 positions because of size. And the trifecta of 28, 11, and 25 paid $15K.
Nice. Like I said, it's Lottery Friday. We just didn't win it. Along with racing at Royal Ascot tomorrow, there's also going to be racing tomorrow at Monmouth Park. And last night we had on Samantha Perry, the racing analyst over at Monmouth Park on Horse Racing Radar TV. Make sure you check that out. It was a real fun interview. She had some really good insights, and she actually dropped some inside information on us there, like you did, Dennis, from last year. So you might want to take a look at that. She shared some insights from trainers, gave us a couple of horses for today and tomorrow that she has some good knowledge of, being one that she rides them in the morning. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So make sure you check that out at Horse Racing Radar TV. While you're here, please hit the subscribe button. If you like what you saw, like Mike Watkins and Robert Bryan, thumbs up would be much appreciated. Thank you, fellas. Same thing on Facebook. Follow us on our social sites. You see them down there at Horse Race, the number 2 day. That's for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And, of course, right here on Horse Racing Radar TV on YouTube. We will be back on Monday, Terry and I, to cover parks like we always do. But tomorrow, our Chris Parmalu. Not you. No, you're going to get some time off out of the dungeon, right?
Yeah, we gotta get out of that dungeon.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. So you got to spend a little bit of time out in the sun, so we get that vitamin D rolling again. But our Chris Parmalu will be starting something tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. At least he's supposed to. Called Spot Plays, and Chris is very much a technical data guy. If you like the mathematical side of horse racing, Chris will be an excellent show there, and I think he'll be joined by Eddie C. So that'll be at 9:30. Check that out. That's it, Tom. Any final thoughts as we wrap up Royal Ascot Week 2022?
We survived. That's about the best thing I can say. Is and actually I looked at. I'm now down $30, so I made a little back. The we've had some payoffs. That there's no question about that. But we've also seen some really good horses win. And again, I see at least 4 or 5 of them at the Breeders' Cup if they stay healthy and sound and continue their winning ways. Because there are some top-notch horses that are going to be globe-trotting a little bit. And it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I think the one who won yesterday's Breeders' Cup Winning Your In race, if I recall correctly, the person who the trainer said they're going to go.
The Riddler is also the 50-1 shot that won.
That's the one I'm talking about. The Riddler.
Yeah, the Norfolk. Yeah.
Because I remember I think when they were interviewing the trainer afterwards, or the owner, or whomever, they were so excited, and they mentioned because it was a Breeders' Cup Winning Your In, and they planned on going. So I think you'll see the Riddler for certain come November at Keeneland. So keep that in mind.
I would be surprised we don't see State of Rest too, because I think that is also a Winning Your In race, if I remember correctly. That $1 million pound race that was run, and he's already been over to this country and won at Saratoga. So he's also won in Australia in the Cox's Plate, which they talked about him going there too. So it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with that horse.
Well, you mentioned 2 places you might see that horse, and those are 2 places you'll probably see Tom and I. We'll be at Saratoga. You might want to check us out for the 4-Star Dave weekend. The HRT crew will likely all be there. So if you want to say hello, just come look for us. We'll be wearing our hats, because you can't wear shirts. Like, you got to have the collar on. It's a little bit more sophisticated than we are.
Collar. Right now, I have a Saratoga shirt on, but no collar.
Yes. Well, maybe they'll let you an exception wearing a Saratoga shirt.
Well, we're in the grandstands on Saturday. We can dress any way we want. It's only in the turf terrace that we have to have a collared shirt on.
And then Thursday, we're going to have a little bit of a contest.
Or morning coats, so we're good on that.
Yeah, I might wear a top hat anyway. But Thursday, Tom's going to have a meet and greet. We're going to have a little bit of a contest to see who wants to have lunch with Thomas at Saratoga. So if you're at Saratoga,
Tom and Terry
Thursday, Tom and Terry for some toast. Meet Tom and Terry for toast, and then we'll join them on Friday and Saturday, and then go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm stepping over you.
And then we're also probably going to see you at Keeneland for the Breeders' Cup. That's where I was going to go. So you'll be able to catch up with us with those horses. So,
yeah, I'm thinking Kentucky Downs too for me. I may go take a little drive down there. I've always wanted to go there, and certainly the racing reminds me a lot of what's overseas. So it'd be interesting to go and see it live instead of watching it on the TV or whatever.
Absolutely. So you'll be able to catch up with us at Saratoga, hopefully Keeneland, maybe Tom at Kentucky Downs. There'll be some other tracks we might stop at along the way out to Saratoga as well. So we'll have more on that as the time closes.
Yeah. Currently, we've got 3 other tracks planned, and but life changes, so we'll see.
Indeed, for sure. So until then, we hope that you have a fantastic Saturday, fantastic Friday. So if you're betting a little bit later on today in any of those horse racing contests or in your accounts, if they'll let you deposit money, something they haven't let me do lately, or doing Royal Ascot tomorrow or Monmouth tomorrow, whatever it is that you do, if you're just cutting the grass. It's a beautiful Saturday where you are. We certainly hope that it ends up in the
winner's circle.
Thanks for spending all that time with us this week. Hopefully we close it out with a bang. Have a great day.